Welcome in to another episode of my Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube. Today, I'm looking at some Dynasty buys. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's go. So, first player, Jordan Addison. And I think that Jordan Addison has actually been really good, but there's been a lot of negativity around the Vikings. There's been there's situations with the quarterback. There have been other problems. And I just think between the suspension and other things, Jordan Addison has kind of gone under the radar. He's been good in 4 games, 21 catches, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, 30 targets, 5.3 catches, and 77.3 yards a game. He's averaging 18 PPR points or 16 PPR points a game, 8th among wide receivers. That's really good. Obviously, I don't think Jordan Addison is the 8th best wide receiver for fantasy. I don't think anyone is saying that. I'm not saying that. But he has been playing well. He immediately came back from his suspension and was the second pass catcher in the offense, clearly way ahead of everyone else, way ahead of TJ Hawkinson. Now, why do I think there's a buying window? There is a lot of negativity around JJ McCarthy. He will start week 9. Now that Carson Wentz is out for the year, he was ruled out with the shoulder surgery. He's going to miss the rest of the season. So JJ McCarthy will start week 9. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, it'll be a disaster. It'll be bad. And it could be. It could be bad. But Carson Wentz was not playing well. I think people are thinking, oh, wow, Carson Wentz was amazing. Oh, he was really good. Not really. Not really. He wasn't good. So is it possible it's a downgrade? Yes, that is absolutely possible. Is it possible that it's an upgrade? Is it possible that JJ McCarthy actually plays better than Wentz? Maybe not the first week he comes back, but in general, that is absolutely possible. There's a lot of room to be better than what Carson Wentz was, right? So at the end of the day, Jordan Addison is 23 years old, not 27, not 30, 23. He has produced his entire career. He's been productive since the moment he came into the NFL. So first round pick, been productive, is productive now, but nobody wants him because JJ McCarthy is whatever, people are not liking that. Justin Jefferson exists, so Jordan Addison will not be the wide receiver 1, and that caps his ceiling, which is true. However, Jordan Addison is different from, say, Jameson Williams, who had lots of periods of his career of just 0. Jordan Addison has produced his entire career. He has been productive. It is a different type of player. So what do we do with Jordan Addison? How do we buy him? Well, I think there is a discount. And I think you can get him for way less than you should be able to. The rest of Jordan Addison's career is valuable, very valuable, but people don't treat him that way. So let's take a look. Jordan Addison and a 26 second for A.J. Brown and a 26 third. I would rather have Jordan Addison over A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is old. A.J. Brown has been inconsistent at best. And I'd rather have Jordan Addison in Dynasty. And then the next one, kind of deal I like, actually. Jordan Addison and DeAndre Swift for James Cook. James Cook is more productive right now. Jordan Addison, to me, has more dynasty value. And you get DeAndre Swift to help cover the running back position that you're giving up by giving up James Cook. So I would prefer Jordan Addison's side here. And there are many other deals. But I like the idea of buying Jordan Addison while there's still this negativity around JJ McCarthy. Now, the next by Brock Purdy. And I hope Brock Purdy comes back this week. I'm still kind of on the fence, but that's not really the point of this segment. And I talk about this on the Patreon a lot. In Dynasty, something we have to consider for Dynasty Superflex is this really a franchise quarterback? Can we trust them for multiple years? Can we really rely on them to hold their value? Because Dynasty is a value game. It's something I talk about in the Patreon a lot. And I think this is a value opportunity on Brock Purdy for someone where there's been some frustration. And the reason there's been frustration is because he's played 2 games. He played a game, then there was an injury, came back, aggravated that same injury. But turf toe, which is what he's been dealing with, is not going to keep Brock Purdy out in 2026. This is not a dynasty value injury. He is going to come back next year, at worst, and continue his career. Right? It's not even as bad as Joe Burrow's injury. He could play this week. Joe Burrow had surgery. And even when Purdy has played, he's been decent. 65.8% completion, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The interceptions are not great, but every quarterback has games with interceptions. 8 yards per attempt. Strong number. 293 passing yards a game. Strong number. These are strong numbers. And Purdy has consistently played well. He's consistently played well in his career. And some people are not going to like it. They're going to complain. I think people are still stuck on his draft capital. That's something I always say. Once you get a contract extension, I'm not going back to your draft capital. I'm not focused on that he was Mr. Irrelevant. And I've put all these stats in the Patreon before, but he's averaged 8 yards per attempt in every year of his NFL career. That's a very strong number. Very, very good. And if we look at his career stats, 42 games, not 5 games, not 10 games, 42 games, 67.4% completion, 68 touchdowns, 31 interceptions, and 8.8 yards per attempt. You can't do that in the NFL if you are bad. I'm sorry. You might be able to have a 10-game stretch of doing this type of numbers, but not 42 games. You wouldn't be able to do it. It's not possible. The idea that Brock Purdy is bad or, not a good or franchise quarterback is silly. We know that he is. Is Brock Purdy maybe overpaid? Maybe he's overpaid, but that's not the point. And it's something I talk about on the Patreon a lot. We can't conflate overpaid and bad. Brock Purdy is undeniably good. So that's not up for a debate. It's very clear from the numbers. It is not possible to play this well and be a bad quarterback. You wouldn't be able to do it. Not for an extended period of time. And he's been good every year, not just for periods of time. So this is a franchise quarterback in Superflex where people are annoyed, they're frustrated, and he was just paid the big contract, so people are angry, and this is a buying opportunity. Now, unfortunately, if you're a patron, you probably can't buy Brock Purdy because you already have Brock Purdy, because I've been suggesting to buy Brock Purdy the whole time. But let's say you're not. I mean, this deal was done today. Dylan Gabriel in 2:26 seconds. This is not even close. I would prefer Brock Purdy by a lot. And then the second deal, Brock Purdy and Garrett Wilson for CeeDee Lamb. More interesting there, I think. A CeeDee Lamb, obviously, I think is the best asset here. But I do like Garrett Wilson. And a franchise quarterback is not the difference between these two players. I would rather have Brock Purdy and Garrett Wilson over just CeeDee Lamb here pretty easily. So Brock Purdy, it's a pretty strong buy target for me right now. Now, if you like my YouTube content, you should sign up for the Patreon. I'm offering a 50% discount off your first month at all tiers using the code TylerYT50. You can sign up in the link in the top right corner, patreon.com/fantasyadvice. Use this code for 50% off your first month. You can get all my rankings, including the weekly start Dynasty rankings, access to Discord where I do all of my takes, write-ups. I've been doing a write-up about every single NFL game. I've done one for every game this season, so you get my Dynasty takes about every game throughout the year. Patreon-only videos, direct message fantasy advice, which is kind of what it sounds like, and the ability to ask in advance questions for the YouTube videos, which you'll see at the end of this video because I like to let the patrons direct some of the content. Tiers begin at just $6 a month, $3 with the discount. If you want to know more about the Patreon, check out my why you should join the Patreon videos on the channel. They're on the homepage under Patreon promos. And again, I'm offering this discount because I want to encourage people to try it. The content landscape has changed. It just has. If you go on the hellscape that is X, Twitter, there's nothing going on there. It's a mess. It's a bunch of bots. It's a garbage area. So it's like there's no point in doing anything on there. I post my content on there. That's about it. In the YouTube comments, I'll talk about the video a little bit, but if you want to have help with your team, the Patreon is the way to go. This is how independent content works in 2025. You have a free part, that's the YouTube videos, supported or paired with paid content. That's the Patreon for me. You don't have all the content for free. That's just not how independent content works. If you're a corporation, you could do that, but not as an independent creator. That's not how it works now. So if you want to support, the Patreon is the way to go. If you just want to watch the YouTube videos, that's fine, but that will be the only free content. There's not going to be other free Dynasty content coming from me. So that's just where I'm at and how it will be moving forward. And, I think it's kind of a good mix of content, and I don't plan to make any changes to the way that I'm doing things. So if you want to sign up for the Patreon and get more bonus content, patreon.com/fantasyadvice. Use code TylerYT50 for 50% off your first month. With that said, I'll move into my final player. So my final player is Xavier Worthy, and actually kind of similar theme to Jordan Addison. This is a player who is clearly the wide receiver 2 on his team. He's not going to be the wide receiver 1 on his team. The wide receiver 1 on his team, Rashee Rice, is not old, is not going anywhere. So we're not going to be seeing that. But I think that Xavier Worthy is undervalued and is still valuable, even if maybe, the upside is not what we want. So in 6 games this year, 21 catches, 233 yards, a touchdown, 33 targets, 3.5 catches, and 38.8 yards a game. He also has 6 carries for 66 yards. I like that he gets involved a little bit as a runner. And he's averaging 9.5 PPR points a game, 50th among wide receivers. But I think this requires a little bit of context, right? So we've had this issue in both of his years so far. If you look at his averages for 2024, they'll say a number, but they include the Week 18 game where he played 1 snap and was pulled with the rest of the Chiefs backups. If you exclude that game, he averaged 3.7 catches and 39.9 yards per game as a rookie, which again is not amazing, but it's not bad. He averaged 95.7 receiving yards a game in the Chiefs playoff run. He was heavily involved at that point. And then this year, if you exclude week 1, where he was injured like 5 minutes in and missed the rest of the game, he's been decent. 4.2 catches, 46.6 yards, and 6.4 targets a game, despite playing through the injury and multiple injuries, actually, for a period of that time. And he's just 22 years old. So he's a young player, his first-round draft capital. Again, it's kind of a similar conversation. I'd say on a slightly lower level. We've seen more from Jordan Addison than Xavier Worthy. But Xavier Worthy's in a better offense, and he's 1 year younger. So we have a little bit more time with Xavier Worthy. Now, I will say, buying Xavier Worthy is pretty easy right now because Rashee Rice, everyone's talking about, oh, you should have waited for Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is going to come in and be great. And, if you were a patron, you would have seen that I had ranked Rashee Rice as a wide receiver 1 in his first week back. So clearly, I agreed with the idea that Rashee Rice would come back in and be great, right? I mean, that's what I was thinking. So we hadn't seen Xavier Worthy establish himself as an alpha when Rashee Rice was out. So that was pretty clear. But this is a buying opportunity. One of the things on the Patreon that I talk about is buying young, value-insulated wide receivers, and Xavier Worthy fits that mold. So these were 2 types of trades very similar. You could buy Xavier Worthy for either of these players. Cam Scatterbo, who, believe me, if this has been talked about on the Patreon a lot, what do we do with Cam Scatterbo? It's sad, but typically I tend to avoid running backs with devastating injuries. I just say, I'll let someone else deal with that. And I would take Xavier Worthy over Cam Scatterbo very easily. And then Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. Talked about Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. Found money. I talked about this in Patreon. It's great. If you were a patron, you would have gotten him in May. I talked about him in May. But he gained a lot of value and never really did anything. Nothing. 0. And now, after he's been bad, you can still get Xavier Worthy for him? That makes no sense. So I would take Xavier Worthy here. And then the next one I thought was more fair. That's why I also put it in here. Luther Burden in the 26th second. I liked Luther Burden as a prospect, but at the end of the day, we have seen a big fat 0 from Luther Burden. He has done nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. He is still not earning playing time. And at the end of the day, he's a 2nd-round pick. He's not going to be the wide receiver 1 on that team. He's not even the wide receiver 2 on that team right now. And that doesn't even include Colston Loveland. I'm a little nervous about Luther Burden. I'm a little nervous now he has a concussion. It's it's taking a little bit of a long time, and he's not doing anything. So if I could just add a second to Luther Burden to get Xavier Worthy, who's already done what I think we would best want Luther. I mean, how good is Luther Burden going to be? I don't know. Probably not that great. It's not going to be better than Rome Odunze ever. And he hasn't done that yet. So Xavier Worthy's already done it. So I would rather have Xavier Worthy here. Although I do think, again, this trade is more fair, right? Like, I don't want every trade I include in here to be a blowout trade. This trade is not unfair. But if I had to choose, I would take Xavier Worthy. Now we'll do the Patreon questions, and then I'll wrap up the show. Justin Jefferson is still showing he's elite, but there are major concerns surrounding his quarterback. We talked about that earlier in the video with Jordan Addison. What's your panic level with him 1 to 10 as a cornerstone dynasty asset? I'd say like a 3. Justin Jefferson is 26. He'll turn 27 next year. So we are getting to an age of spending a first-round startup pick on Justin Jefferson is getting to be a little tough. So from that perspective, maybe a little bit. But in terms of the quarterback, I kind of talked about that already. The answer is no. Justin Jefferson's elite. So not really. Not really. But, I will start to this offseason maybe look at tear downs from Justin Jefferson to younger players if I can get a good value. That would be something. And I'll talk about that on the Patreon a lot, I'm sure. I feel like the most common metric you state for quarterbacks is yards per attempt. Can you explain why you weigh that one so heavily when evaluating quarterback play? Yes, it's because of the metrics that you can easily see from just looking at a box score, looking at the Pro Football Reference page of quarterback. That is the best of those. Touchdowns, we know that's random, essentially completely random, passing touchdowns. So I don't care about that at all. Completion percentage is important, but is a little bit more scheme dependent. I don't think it's irrelevant, but I think you can kind of scheme someone a higher completion percentage. You can't scheme high yards per attempt. A high yards per attempt means that you are good. You can't just do it. How is it a bad quarterback is not going to have a high yards per attempt? Now, sometimes you get quarterbacks that are a little bit overrated, but like if you have yards per attempt above 8, you're not, for a long extended period of time, you are not bad. Whether you're elite or not, okay, there's some context. But I'd say of the readily usable metrics, that is the most relevant. That is the most helpful. It tells you the most about a quarterback. And kind of in the other way, if you have a yards per attempt below 6, you're bad. There are no good quarterbacks who are doing that. So it does tell you the most, I would say. I think that's covering that. What sort of advanced metrics interest you the most? Okay, so for tight ends, I really don't use them. I just think for tight ends, there's so few players, it's easier to just look at the players. For quarterbacks, I don't use too many advanced metrics for quarterbacks, yards per attempt. I mean, I'll look at how they play. I use them for running backs a little. Yards after contact. That's something I really like because that's all on the running back. Sometimes I look a little bit at explosive plays. True yards per carry a little as well. Not too much. The big one where I use it is wide receivers. Wide receivers, I use advanced metrics a lot because I do think that they tell more than the traditional stats. Yards per route run, targets per route run, target share, target rate. These are all important things. Earning targets is important, and your efficiency on routes is important. Yards per team pass attempt. For wide receivers, I actually care more about the advanced stats than the traditional. For all the other positions, I tend to care about the traditional stats more, and the advanced stats are only for context. As for watching all 22s, could I do that? Sure. But at the end of the day, I'm a dynasty analyst. What is the best use of my time? Realistically, right? Do you want me to be spending hours watching all 22s, or do you want me in the Patreon Discord answering trade questions and talking about how to do dynasty trades, talking about dynasty trade strategy? What do you want me doing, right? Like, there are people who are going to be better at watching all 22s than me, right? That is not my area of expertise. I have no expertise in that area. So could I do it? Sure. Is that the best use of my time? I don't think so. I think it's best spending my time on Dynasty trade strategy, being present in the Patreon to help walk patrons through trades, talking about stuff like that. What rookie has impressed you the most so far this year? Oh, I mean, Emeka Egbuka, because he's just exceeded all of my expectations. Jackson Dart. I was higher on Jackson Dart than most. If you were in the Patreon, you might have gotten a lot of Jackson Dart. And Emeka Egbuka, actually, I was higher on him too. But both of them have exceeded my expectations. Tyler Warren has also been very impressive. Again, another rookie I was pretty high on, but he's exceeded my expectations. Those are the big three. Egbuka, Warren, and Dart have exceeded my expectations and have impressed me for sure. So those would be the three for me. If you liked the video, make sure to support the channel by subscribing. And don't forget to hit that new hype button to help the videos in the algorithm. Plus, hit that notifications bell so you can be notified about all my exciting content as it drops. Plus, if you want my best fantasy football advice, it's available on the Patreon. Dynasty fantasy football content year-round and starts at content in season. 50% discount off your first month at all tiers using code TylerYT50. You can sign up at the link top right corner, patreon.com/fantasyadvice. Every sign up helps support my independent content. But once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.